Hey, good morning, everyone. Brian Hoops here, Midwest Market Solutions. This is Market Insider TV. This is our opening commentary, and it's Thursday morning, September the 19th. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's about 7:45. Grain markets have just closed and will reopen in 45 minutes. I will be doing RFD TV this morning and tomorrow morning at 8:15 Central Time, talking about the overnight markets, what we can expect during the trading session ahead, and any other news that comes up. So let's take a look here at these news features. We have big moves in the stock market overnight. We're up near its previous highs from back in July. Crude oil also about a percent higher, percent and a half higher actually now. Dollar's under a little bit of pressure this morning, but as we see, gold and silver trying to trade higher here. Another new contract high in the gold market, and silver's up pretty strong as well, 66 cents better. As I said, the crude oil up near $71, pushing that into a dollar plus gains here. Stock market sharply higher, and it's very near its old-time highs. Overnight in the grains, corn's down 2 3/4. Beans closed a penny and a half higher, and that's almost a dime off of its overnight lows. It was lower about an hour ago and has rallied since the release of the export numbers. Into these export sales, they were better than expected for soybeans, and that lifted the soybean market. Meal stronger as well with soybean oil. Oats are up this morning while wheat is trading 5 cents weaker, and it looks like corn could be caught in between soybeans and the wheat. So yesterday we had grain markets sharply higher, or excuse me, I should say soybeans sharply higher in the overnight, but could not sustain those gains during the day session. And we were lower overnight for most of the night, except into the morning hours here. We'll see if we can sustain that. Probably going to need some positive export news. And we have just one export sale this week on Monday. That was 132,000 beans to an unknown destination. Let's get into some of our news and other features here this morning, as we remind you to follow us on Twitter and text message service at our website, MidwestMarketSolutions.com. So let's look at what we have on tap. So Fed rate decision day was yesterday, and the rates were lowered by a half point yesterday. That should be friendly to the stock market and should pressure the U.S. dollar index as a longer-term trend. So traders will view that rate cut as bullish to the stock market, which normally rate cuts are. Lower interest rates are usually friendly for the stock market. It's a sign that maybe the economy isn't as strong as they feel the need to stimulate the economy with lower interest rates. And what usually happens when you lower interest rates like that, you get some sort of an inflationary market. And so we may see inflation back on the rise, which is why gold and silver are up sharply in the overnight, and they were yesterday following this announcement as well. Initial jobless claims out this morning, 219,000. That was below expectations of 230,000. Now continuing claims, 1.829 million, and that was below estimates of 1.85. Weekly export sales released this morning. Corn at 33.4 million bushels. The soybeans at 63.1 and wheat at 9.1. The wheat and the corn numbers not all that great, but soybeans well above estimates at 63 million bushels. These are some very strong export numbers for soybeans, and China was a big buyer once again. They bought over 35 million bushels of soybeans from the United States, 35.8 million last week. There was also some unknown destinations included in that buying, and that will assume it will end up being China. But for now, we know that China was a big buyer, biggest and strongest buyer, and that's what attracted the buying interest in the soybean futures late in the morning hours. Beef sales were, I'm going to say, okay. This is kind of the range that we've been in for most of this calendar year. 15.5 million tons, shipments at 16.4. It's actually up from last week. And pork sales were decent as well. 29 million tons, shipments at 31.4. These are, I would say, just okay numbers for the beef and pork sales. Nothing that's going to really highlight or push markets in one direction or the other. We haven't seen really any cash trade yet in the cattle market. Still waiting, and we usually don't see that until we get into the cattle on feed report time frame, and that is tomorrow at 2 o'clock Central Time. Now, the estimates from Bloomberg, 100.6% of last year on feed supplies. Could be just a little bit larger, while placements down from last month nearly 2 percentage points, and markings at 96.6. The deferred contracts are anticipating a somewhat friendly report with smaller placements, and the on-feed numbers should not be a real surprise or very bearish to the trade. It's pretty much what the trade would be expected. I think we'll see these numbers as expected, and cash trade should develop sometime on Friday, probably Friday afternoon, after we get some of the on-feed numbers established, and we'll start trading a little bit of cash trade. We may see some later today. The stock market being up should help the cattle market recover this morning. And this week's cattle facts show us it's down 4,800 head, total of 236,000 head. Higher stock market, smaller show list suggests cash trade should be at least steady, if not higher. The cutout values are struggling though, and that's going to keep a lid on cash rallies. That's why we're only looking for maybe $1 advance in a best case scenario this week. Have a good day of trade, everyone. And as always, reach out to us. Be glad to talk some markets and strategies with you. Sign up to receive our daily newsletters, and if you haven't already. So this has been Brian Hoops. Good luck and good trading.